Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. We are back at it. So today we're going to focus a little bit more on craft distillery. So actually, I should say, honestly, recently, I've had a newfound love for craft distilleries. Don't get me wrong. I am a big fan of the big distilleries, your Buffalo Traces, your Heaven Hills, and so forth. But I do think there's a special kind of love, honestly, for craft distilleries. They, in my opinion, they are truly the up and coming player in the whiskey industry for the most part, right? And I say that because, craft distilleries, they're putting their heart, and effort into each and every bottle that they produce. Their various different sub brands, the teams that make the whiskey, smaller productions, but honestly, excellent quality whiskey as a whole. So today we're going to focus on 7 craft distilleries that I personally want to visit myself. Absolutely. Before we get into that real quick, let's go ahead and kick it off with a little bit of housekeeping, right? So number one, I just got back. I was fortunate enough to do a barrel pick with Glens Creek Distillery. We did a barrel pick of OCD number 5. According to Dave, we were the first whiskey tuber to do a barrel pick. He's done some other barrel picks, like just a handful, honestly, a few other barrel picks from smaller, like different groups, but we're the first whiskey tube group to do a barrel pick. So extremely excited for their OCD number 5 barrel pick that we did. Thanks again, Dave and his team. We had a we had a great time, honestly. We truly had a great time. So that one's coming out. We have some other barrel picks coming up pretty soon. We have, let's see, Found North. That one's coming in pretty soon. That one's already been picked. That's a partnership with Stuff and Whiskey. My good friends Josh and Aaron. Starlight barrel pick coming out pretty soon. That one's finished in a Hungarian oak. So that one is very, very cool. Foregate pick. An ASW pick. Gosh, there's just a lot of different really cool barrel picks. So really excited for a lot of these barrel picks that are coming out to our Patron group coming up here in the next few months here. So really excited. But just we're trying to get some great barrels for our Patron community. What else we have? So also another key update. I've recently had a chance to finally jump on Facebook under the Bourbon Judge. So huge shout out to Mrs. Judge, because she was like, you know what, you need to jump on Facebook. So we set up an account. So we have the Bourbon Judge, which is great. A lot of people have been reaching out saying, Judge, why don't you have a Bourbon Judge Facebook account? So it is pretty cool. So now we are able to kind of share updates not only in Instagram and YouTube and also our Patreon community, but also now on Facebook as well. So that's definitely some good stuff as well. Speaking of, we were talking about patrons earlier, so I had a chance to go to Glens Creek, and me and 3 of my patrons, we did our barrel pick. Speaking of patrons, we have new patrons to welcome. So let's go ahead and welcome our good friends, Mary Beth H, Roman C, Devil's Cut, I love that name, Nick, Calvin B, Sean F, Troy D, Michael W, Chris H, and Keelan. So thank you all for supporting the Bourbon Judge. As we always say, welcome to our family. I do feel like we have a great community. I always see back and forth, like in Discord, people helping each other out, like with bottles and sharing samples and our meetups and our barrel picks. Like we just got back from Glens Creek, like I mentioned, me and 3 of my patrons. We truly have a fun community, a true little family. So welcome to the family, and thank you for all my other patrons as well, men and ladies. I appreciate each and every one of you. Last update from a housekeeping perspective, we are down to literally, I think it's less than like 10 bottles of our Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye barrel pick. That was a joint pick, myself, Andy and Todd over at 21090, as well as Chris from Bourbon of the Week. So down to the last 10 bottles. I think the word finally got out how good that barrel pick really was, and it's almost sold out. So if you're interested, go ahead and check it out over at Chairpour. All right. So we're going to dive into 7 craft distilleries that I honestly myself, I have not visited these craft distilleries. I've had all their whiskey, of course, buying it online or different stores, but I've never actually been to the distilleries themselves. But I've heard they are just wonderful experiences, and I'm truly excited to visit these distilleries. Cool? All right. These are not in order. These are just, 7 that I've been really thinking about a lot. I've heard a lot of good feedback from patrons and friends in the whiskey community. I'm like, you know what? Talk to Mrs. Judge. I'm like, this is on our whiskey travel plans in the next year. We got to get there. All right. Number 1 is up in Michigan. So this is Journeyman Distillery. So Journeyman, they are honestly just making wonderful craft whiskey. I am truly excited about the whiskey coming out of Journeyman Distillery. I know my good friends Paul, him and his lovely wife Susie, my buddy Blake. I have a lot of different patrons that are up in that area that they visit this distillery often, and they're like, Judge, you need to get to Journeyman. So I've looked online. I mean, they even have their own little putting green, so you can sip whiskey and putt. Use your putter. Putt a little bit. So that's pretty cool. So I definitely need to check out Journeyman Distillery in Michigan. Number 2, while I am the biggest fan of Columbus, Ohio, and I've given a lot of love to Middle West Spirits, and I still love Middle West Spirits, I also, next time I'm in Columbus, Ohio, number 2, I need to check out Watershed Distillery. I've had some samples from good friends that live in Columbus. My buddy Troy, he gave me a couple different samples of Watershed Distillery products, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I've heard really good things about the distillery itself, good experiences, and so forth. So I need to get there, do a tour, and check out Watershed Distillery the next time I'm in Columbus, Ohio. All right, number 3. This is a brand who recently bought a distillery, which was a craft distillery, which I'm cool with, Short Barrel. So Short Barrel, they recently acquired Old Fourth Distillery down in Atlanta, Georgia. I recently reviewed the cigar batch from Short Barrel. They are making Short Barrel, their whiskey is just, it's insane. It really is insane, honestly. So I definitely, next time I get to Atlanta, myself and Mrs. Judge, we absolutely need to check out Short Barrel, but then I guess more important, Old Fourth Distillery. So I'm really excited to see the new whiskey that they're going to be producing out of their own lineup from their whiskey as a whole. So really excited for that one. Also, speaking of Short Barrel, we also just for our Judge community just scheduled a barrel pick with Short Barrel. So really excited about that one as well. So that's number 3. Before I get to number 4 through 7, let me know real quick. Drop a comment. Let me know what are some of your favorite craft distilleries out there that you've been to that maybe ones I should check out. Number 2, hit the like button. And last but not least, please make sure you all subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get notification each and every time I release new content. Cool? All right. Cheers. Woo. That is delicious. All right. What's number 4? Well, if I'm already going to be in Georgia for Short Barrel / Old Fourth Distillery, I might as well make my way up to 13th Colony, right? I'm in Georgia. I might as well go ahead and check out 13th Colony. I mean, everyone loves 13th Colony. We all love their double oaked. But even their standard rye, their bourbon, the small batches are truly phenomenal. So I would love to check out 13th Colony while in Georgia. Just make a little bit of a small trip up to Americas, where they're based out of, and check out 13th Colony. That is the number 4 spot. Number 5. Oh boy. You have to make your way to good old Texas and check out Still Austin. Yes, Still Austin is making, honestly, I've had numerous single barrels of their whiskey, and it almost seems like each and every single barrel is getting better and better and better. Still Austin, based obviously in Texas, in partnership with Nancy Fraley, who is just like the whiskey blender taster. She is like a guru when it comes to doing everything whiskey related. So she has helped that team out a lot. And again, all the single barrels I've had from Still Austin are just getting better and better. And I've had some friends that recently went to their distillery and they enjoy themselves and like, Judge, it's a great place. Check it out. Sample some whiskey. Check out Still Austin as a whole. So number 5. It seems like I gotta go to Texas. Why not? All right, number 6. I'm making my way up north. I'm going up to this great state of Wisconsin, and I need to go visit J. Henry, another distillery that Nancy Fraley has also had her hand on with helping the team there. Again, J. Henry, I've had several different products from them as well, but I've also heard, more important, go to the distillery, Judge, check it out. A really cool experience. Try some whiskey on site. Check out, obviously how they make whiskey up in good old Wisconsin. So that is the number 6 distillery that I need to check out. So what is number 7? Woo! Number 7. Oh boy, I need some whiskey before we get to number 7. Woo! As much as I love the East Coast, and I do love the East Coast, number 7 is going to take me out west. I absolutely need to go out west to the great state of California to Atwater, California, and visit Corbin Distillery. Corbin is producing, in my personal opinion, probably one of the best rye whiskeys on the market. Yes, you heard me say that. One of the best rye whiskeys on the market. They use a particular grain. It's called like a Merced rye. It's a particular type of a rye. And that rye whiskey, oh my gosh, it almost leaves me speechless, folks. And I'm a talker, and it leaves me speechless. It is that good. So number 7, I'm going out west to Corbin Distillery in California and checking out that wonderful distillery, sip some of their whiskey, and hopefully come home with a few bottles. Hey friends, until the next time, as we say in this courtroom, peace, cheers, most important, salute. Take care.